Why do I feel like the odd one out? Sometimes people who are new to a spiritual path make a big fuss about it, as if they need to justify their choices. You don't need to justify anything. If you feel like asking people to validate your decisions, then those decisions probably come from the mind, where you will find emotions such as fear, guilt, or anger, and not from the heart, where you will find only love. I'm reminded of an incident over Easter one year where the church group offered hot cross buns to commuters on their way to work. I declined the offer, purely because I've never liked the taste of hot cross buns. Why would I take one, only to throw it away later because I wasn't going to eat it? I quickly explained this to the lady who was offering the bun to me, and we both moved on, no big deal. Right behind me was a man who suddenly got quite vocal about people shoving their religion down his throat. He didn't stop there. He wanted to ensure that as many commuters as possible heard his attack in a raised voice. He would probably have told you that either he was a non-believer or that he was on a spiritual path. That's not the behavior of a person who is discovering spirituality. Following a spiritual path means that you discover humility and an increased awareness that you are in this world but not of this world. One of the first discoveries you'll make is that you are disillusioned with many things that you grew up with. Views that worked for you before are no longer valid. Here's a question for you. What views that you grew up with are you now disillusioned with? And why? For example, I grew up in apartheid South Africa where racism was ingrained in me from an early age. People of races other than white were regarded as inferior, and there was no argument about it. Not that anyone wanted to argue with something that was as much as a given as rain falling from the sky. I was a young adult when I was exposed to non-white colleagues in the work situation. I very quickly discovered that things didn't add up. I discovered attributes like intelligence and compassion where there should have been none, based on my upbringing. In today's world, this might sound crude, but in those times I was soon regarded as a maverick and a political risk. My father even jokingly referred to me as Mandela's secretary in a time when Nelson Mandela was still in prison for terrorism. I had to choose to either turn back to what I was raised on or move forward based on what I had discovered in my heart and risk losing family and friends. That was how serious the choice was at the time. I chose to move forward. That was not a choice that was forced on me. Rather, I discovered that the choice was never a choice. I simply uncovered what had been there all the time. I had intuitively known all the time that there's more good than bad in people of all races. And life gave me the opportunity to lift the veil on this and not put it back again. Another intuitive discovery related to homosexuality. After high school, I went to university, still wet behind the ears and sexually totally ignorant. I wanted to become a psychologist, and I took a series of courses that would help me achieve my goal. One of the courses related to basic counseling skills, and the topic of counseling gay people came up. The professor made it quite clear that the very first step in counseling a gay person is to get them to acknowledge the error of their sexual ways, and only then can you counsel them on any topic, ranging from career choice to handling grief to dealing with bullying. My intuitive reaction was, how dare you ask people to change who they intrinsically are purely to fit in with your bias? To this day, I can still recall the strength of my reaction. It was like running full speed through a brick wall without any warning. The only explanation I can give is that we all know intuitively what resonates with us, and we know when we are faced with bare-faced lies. Here's a question for you. Walking a spiritual path means standing up to bias and prejudice, and treating every person as a creature of God, no matter who or what they are. Can you do that?